Access settings then holds your IP whitelist. Now this may seem a little bit technical, but don't worry, I'll explain it in full. If you have a scenario whereby you have an internal tool, in this case a website, that you only want one section of your company to access, for instance, you only want a web team to be able to access a website, then you can have your network manager or someone who's in charge of your network to put the IP addresses of everyone on that team into the IP whitelist, which would mean that only that team would have access to your website. It basically gives you a little bit more security over who can and who can't access your website, and there are special considerations that you might want to put in place when creating your website to allow that access to be restricted to only a set group of people. Generally, depending on the circumstance, you will never need to touch the IP whitelist. However, depending on the nature of the website, you might need to interact with this section to restrict who can and who can't access your website. Now, as the help documentation notes, you can put IP addresses in different formats. You can have one IP, you can have a wildcard IP, an IP range, an IP with a subnet mask, or an IP with CIDR. Don't worry if you're unfamiliar with any of these terms. Your network manager or the person or the people who take care of your network will understand what this means, and if it's necessary for your website to be restricted, you can direct them here and they'll be able to set it up as you wish.